with TechBud Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing Sunday. Friendly reminder before we even start today's video, I do want to let you guys know that Labor Day, as in tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, it is going to be September 6th, 2021. The stock market is closed in observance to Labor Day. So make sure you take that into consideration, that all the stocks that we talk about today, again, feel free to add them to your watch list. None of the stocks that we talk about today are in any way any stock suggestion. At the end of the day, one of the things that we're always here to encourage you and empower you to do is to have your own opinion. You never learn by copying, you learn by understanding why someone does what it is that they do, right? So I really hope that throughout this video, you learned something new. If you do, please consider dropping a thumbs up and subscribing if you feel like we earned it. I do want to let you guys know that we do have our own Labor Day sales going on for both TechBud's apparel, so anything when it comes down to the mouse pads, when it comes down to the aluminum art, everything. So you guys can actually see it right on over here. If you guys have wanted to kind of like update your trading station, we have huge trading mouse pads. There's some of the best selling trading mouse pads out there, and we have a bunch of different designs. They're all on sale. The entire site is 20% off. The link is down in the description. It's shoptechbuds.com, as well as if you want to join our private Learn Plan Profit group, you get access to the A to Z video lesson library, all the updates, and as well as, like everyone likes to ask, the daily live trading sessions. I want to let you guys know that LPP is the only group that I work with every single day at market open. They're the only team that get to watch me trade live. They're the only team that I work with on a, again, exclusive basis. So if that's something that you want to do, make sure you refresh your screen if the link doesn't show or present itself in the description, and it should show you a $50 off coupon for those that want to take part of our sell. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right to it. So here, Ricky, first time finally made it into a live session. What's going on, Andrew? What's up? What's up? So what's going on, Barney? I'm going to say what's up to a couple of the people that we have tuning on in. So if you guys are tuning on in, make sure that you're signed into your YouTube account, and you guys can actually comment in the live chat. So any stock that you would like me to break down, you're more than welcome to share, and I can give you my opinion throughout this live stream. So, and if you're not tuning in live, then just make sure you subscribe and turn on your notification bell. So what's going on, TC Mahalo? What's going on, Samuel? What's up, Dog? What's up, Andrew? So business ideas. What's up? What's up? Grace, Harry, 5 Pound Fisher, Money Manson, Andy. We got Taylor, Darcy, Lalo, Samuel, Carlos. What's going on? What's up? What's up? But yeah, I really do. What's going on, Jason? Nice to see you here, man. What's going on, Christian? Is it Gurma? Scott? What's up? What's up? Christopher, Song and Music, Christian Morales. All right, Justin De Silva. We got Carly. Is it Scoffinger? Not too sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but altogether, I really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday. I'm sure I won't make it too long of a live stream. So let's go ahead and get right to it. If you have any stock that you would like me to break down, please just make sure that you comment it, and if you can, in the ticker call out format here in the live chat. What's going on, Charlie? What's up? What's up? What's going on, Ryan? All right, so we got ABBV. Let's go ahead and start checking these out. So ABBV. But some of you guys are going to be asking what trading platform this is. One of the things that I want to share with you is I use the Webull trading platform. It's not the platform that you have to use, but if you refresh your screen right now and in the description, you can actually download with my Webull link this application if you're within the United States, and you'll automatically get 3 free stocks just by signing up. So make sure you take that into consideration. The link is down in the description if you like the way that it looks and you like the user face. So on the 4-year chart, I do agree ABBV is a little bit more on the oversold side. The RSI, the MACD, the MACD, the RSI is looking a little bit more on the oversold side. It looks like it just went through, was this earnings? It was at 180-day highs with a very aggressive pullback. I'm going to look back and look at it on the day chart. But yeah, super bullish. And it looks like it does pull back from time to time, but overall as a very consistent overall bullish direction, which is something that I personally find very attractive about a company and a stock, right? At the end of the day, we want to make sure that we do our part in putting money in areas that are showing signs of growth. And we can see, looking back a year, and where every candle represents a day, we could see that more often than not, ABBV is more bullish than it is bearish. And because of this recent pullback, it doesn't mean that you have to buy it right now, right? But the idea with this is that based off of where it was and where it's at now, so where it's at right now and where it was before, you can see that it offers about 10% for a potential recovery. No, that's not huge margin, but that's still something, right? And it can still sell off, so make sure you take that into consideration. So going back onto that 4-hour time frame, I do agree with you. Yes, ABBV is a little bit more on the oversold side. I see why you're paying attention to it, and I like that you're paying attention to companies that are showing signs of consistent growth. With that being said, again, there's not just upside potential. It can definitely still continue to sell off. So if you're going to talk about the potential that a stock offers, you better take into consideration the risk involved. So that's why I also set my alert for the break below 110. So if we do begin to get indication of a pullback, then at least we can become aware. So the way that I would approach this is like 3 stages of a reversal, right? If you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, you should be aware of how it is that we approach reversals. There's the rejection, there's a consolidation phase, which is stage 2, and then confirmation when we break above EMA and actually begin to indicate signs of reversal. Make sure that before you choose to take advantage of an opportunity, that there is proper indication of that reversal and a reason on why you're taking action, not just blindly buying the dip. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got EVGO. So EVGO, I saw you commenting this quite a bit. So what is it that you're saying about it? So, all right, so good day trade, long-term hold. Oh, okay, I don't know about the long-term hold. And again, I'm just sharing my 2 cents. You're welcome to share yours as well. If I were to ask you, right, looking at this for the past year, if I were to ask you, is this how you want your stock portfolio to look like, right? From trading at $24 all the way down to $9, right? The direction is not in your favor. And I know that you're saying that there's certain news right now that's to be shared that should act as a further, positive catalyst. But more often than not, I'm not here to speculate something. That's great that you're looking into it and that the future looks promising. All I'm here to share with you is that more often than not, a set expectation, hope, doesn't actually go according to plan, right? I don't want to put more chips in opportunities that I hope go up, but more be selective, right? And be encouraged to be selective. And as of right now, EVGO has been selling off. It's been making lower highs and lower lows. The direction is not in your favor. So it is consolidating a lot. It looks like it's trying to establish a support level. I'll set my alert for the potential reversal above $10. So if we actually begin to indicate, right? So if you're so certain, and again, I challenge you, I challenge anyone, right? That if you're so certain that a stock is about to recover, I challenge you and your future self to wait for confirmation. And the reason I try to challenge you for that is, it's in your best interest. How many times I want to get a show of hands. I want to get a show of hands because I want everyone to know that, if you're just getting started, you're no different than our first experience. How many times when you were first getting started, do you buy the dip on a stock, right? Something similar to this, where you hear some good news is about to be shared. You hear some promising, foreshadowing, some hope. You buy the dip. You think it's going to begin to recover, and then it just continues to sell off again, right? There was no actual indication of a recovery. There was just news or articles or speculation out there. How many times have we made that mistake? I not only have made that mistake in the past before, but I still make that mistake from time to time, right? I want to give you a real world example. AMC. A lot of you guys saw that I had nearly 10,000 shares of AMC. I locked in profits. I sold 6,000 or 7,000 shares at $47, right? But I still held 1,000 shares. And guess what? I held 1,000 shares because of the speculation that if it breaks above $50 a share, it could potentially pull back. It could break out, right? It can shoot up. But guess what? AMC pulled on back. And it's a risk that I took. If you're someone that's just getting started, I just want you to know that more often than not, speculation does not lead to a successful trade. It's very hopeful, and at the end of the day, yeah, everyone wants to take advantage of a risky trade to some degree, but just make sure that you put yourself in a position to succeed, right? Make sure that if you choose to buy the dip on EVGO, you do it with a dollar amount in which you can tolerate. So if it continues to sell off, it doesn't devastate you. You're just getting started, right? You have so much time to learn from your mistakes. So please make sure that regardless of how big supposedly the opportunity is, that you take into consideration that, again, more often than not, the direction most likely won't be in your favor. So I set my alert for the break above the SMA line right around 10:30. I'd love to see EVGO actually begin to break out, but as of right now, there's nothing, right? There's just a lot of consolidation and a lot of selling off based off of its past. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got ticker symbol PINS. So it's Pinterest. B-Day coming up. I'd love to join LPP. All right, Scott, I appreciate that. Friendly reminder, Scott, I'm not too sure if you saw, but we have a $50 off coupon going on in the description for you. But if it's your birthday, feel no rush to sign up. You can message me at any time, and I'd love to offer you a discount at any time or when it is that it is your birthday. So Pinterest is one that I've personally been paying attention to. You guys could see that on my Fidelity account, I have a little bit of a larger position on Pinterest. I am telling you this as someone that has an open position in Pinterest. Do I think that Pinterest is a stock that's about to blow up? Is this a stock that I think that's going to just shoot through the roof? Definitely not, right? Do I view Pinterest to be a cheap stock right now based off of previous patterns? Yeah, based off of previous support levels right on over here at $54, right? Based off of previous highs at $81, $82, and it's sold right back off. So it's experiencing a lot of consolidation around 54 to 58. But let's be honest, Pinterest is not making higher highs and higher lows, right? Just because I have a position in it does not mean that you should. I like that we both see eye to eye in the idea that, hey, Pinterest did used to trade at previous, really good levels, right? At $74 to $80. But from where we're at right now in previous highs, that's great. That offers over 30%, over 38% upside. That's great. But guess what? I would hate for you to buy the dip and Pinterest continue to sell off. I bought Pinterest with a dollar amount that I can tolerate. I'm not under the PDT rule. I don't need that money. I'm okay with buying Pinterest and holding, right? It doesn't need to recover right away. But if you choose to buy the dip on Pinterest and you do it with your account size that you trade with, you don't have the time to be able to tolerate this consolidation. So stay effective, right? Just set effective alerts. If you like the setup on Pinterest, if you like the upside potential that Pinterest has to offer, set alerts. And once and if Pinterest actually begins to break and trade above the SMA line, then revisit it and be like, hey, is this a stock worthy of my money? Ask yourself and treat it that way. You should be encouraged to be like, hey, I need to make sure that every trade opportunity meets my criteria and that makes sense. That the direction is in your favor, that it's indicating signs of an uptrend, and that there's great upside versus downside potential, right? That golden ratio. Never be afraid to say no, even if I'm trading it. It doesn't matter if I'm trading, it doesn't matter who else is in it. If there's no indication of an uptrend, be encouraged and empowered to say no. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got Justin De Silva with the ticker call out format. I appreciate that. So we got CRSR. So CRSR. So we did break this down already, and it looks like CRSR has been on a consistent descending pattern. It sold off to lows of $25 a share. It's been indicating signs of a potential recovery. One of the things that I do want to share with you is maybe you'll see it a little bit more clear on the day chart. CRSR has been selling off for some time. It was on an amazing rally, right, during pandemic conditions, but it's been selling off ever since then. Look at the MACD now and look at the RSI. It's not a cheap stock. It's been on a nice rally on the 4-hour time frame, but you need to understand. The reason I like looking at the 4-hour or on the day chart, I like looking at the overall direction. It gives me a better understanding of when a stock is bullish or when a stock is bearish. So it's great that CRSR has been holding above the EMA line. But more often than not, for the past, 5-6 months, it's been making lower highs and lower lows. So don't allow, 2 to 3 weeks of a bullish rally, blind you from its true direction that it's been trading for the past couple of months. Understand true direction. It's great, and as long as it continues to trade above the EMA line, then yeah, as of right now, it's trading above SMA, it's trading above EMA, and as long as it stays true to that, I see why you're paying attention to it. I just want you to understand the overall big picture, and as of right now, it's been making lower highs and lower lows, and I would hate for you to buy the stock here and then it just continue to sell right back off. That would be a very and then you'd have to manage your risk and all of that, and then you think that the market's against you and all of that, and at the end of the day, it's great to pay attention to current direction, but it's also very important to pay attention to overall direction. So let me know what you think about that. So here we go. So we got ticker VIH. What's going on, Nick? So VIH, let's go ahead and break this one down. All right, so this one's showing signs of just straight manipulation. You can see that it has no volume, and then all of a sudden the volume spikes. So this is showing me signs of it being manipulated, pump and dumps, stuff like that. I personally don't trade stocks like this. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. It just means that you should know that this comes at a greater form of risk. As quick as it pushes up, just know that it crashes that, it can crash even quicker. There's this saying where pump and dumps take, or really just stocks in general, take the stairs as they go up and take the elevator as they go down, right? And we've seen it time after time where a stock steadily increases in price, and then just all of a sudden a sudden drop. If you're horrible at risk management, you know who you are, right? If you're horrible at risk management, if you're bad with position size, if you don't like red days, pump and dumps are not going to be your cup of tea. It's that simple. It takes a different breed. And if you do well with this, then great. But understand that your best friend, when it comes down to these rallies, are direction and momentum. If the direction and momentum are in your favor, then great. But once it peaks, it's a sudden crash, and you need to be quick with that exit plan, even when the stock is getting halted. So it's much easier said than done, to say the least. I would stay away from this, but again, if it's your cup of tea, then all power to you. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So we got a couple people asking for Tesla and PLTR. I appreciate that. So let's go ahead and break those down. Again, if you want me to break down your stock, just make sure that you share it in the live chat. But we got Tesla performing amazing. This is something that we talked about last week with our Learn Plan Profit group. And as you guys can see, we've talked about it before, where old resistance levels, right? We can see Tesla at 725, 730, old resistance levels, right? It would get rejected, has now become a new support level. So we're seeing a lot of consolidation up here and almost building this bull flag pattern where we can potentially see a breakout if we break above 750. This would be amazing, because Tesla has not traded above this area for a really long time. You guys could see almost at early 2021, right? And it peaked peaked like New Year's, right? And then it's been selling off ever since. And it's had some rallies from time to time, but overall more bearish than bullish. And it's great that now we have it trading above the SMA line and the direction is back in your favor. With that being said, all we're paying attention to right now is that support level and that resistance level. Let's keep it simple, right? If it breaks above that 745, 750, it would be amazing to see Tesla break out to potentially $800 a share. How many of you guys would like to see that? That'd be great, right? But please note, right? We can't just talk about that upside. We need to talk about that downside. If we break below the SMA line, just like we've done many, many times before, when we break below, Tesla doesn't hesitate to crash, right? And it's not a crash like, oh my God, you need to freak out, but it pulls back, and it pulls back hard. So understand your position size. If we break below EMA, if we break below 725, I wouldn't be surprised if we test SMA, which is right around 700. Ask yourself, do I want to hold my entire position size right now at this level? Don't just think about what if it breaks out above 750. You need to take into consideration the downside. Weigh out your options. How much money would you make versus how much money would you be down? Do you have money left over to buy the dip, right? If Tesla remains bullish. These are all great questions to ask yourself. It's not about trying to predict the future. No one can do that. But it's about preparing for it. So by reducing your position size, you at least allow and give yourself the opportunity to have enough money available to buy the dip. Or if you already have enough money available, then you don't have to worry about that, right? If you can already tolerate the pullbacks, then again, that's the beautiful part about being well balanced. Having enough money in a position that you feel motivated, but not so much that when it pulls back, you become an emotional mess. And I know if you've been trading for a while, you know exactly what I mean. So PLTR is going to be the next one. I'm excited to follow up with Tesla for sure. PLTR, do you guys remember that we talked about this stock when it reported earnings? Everyone was freaking out. It's been selling off, right? After it peaked at $27.50, it sold off. It found a support level right around $22. This is almost a perfect example of the 3 stages of a reversal, right? We talk about this with our Learn Plan Profit group all the time. Look at this. This is the rejection phase where it gets rejected by the EMA line and then lower highs and lower lows, right? And then we got the consolidation phase where it builds a support level, but it's not making higher highs, right? It's really just consolidating. And then, right? So this is, it looks like it's actually establishing a support level. And then we actually begin to indicate signs of an uptrend where we break above previous highs and we actually begin to show signs of higher highs and higher lows, right? And it's been riding up there ever since. Now we're approaching previous resistance levels right around 27.50. Now, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to, so make sure you take that into consideration. As of right now, based off of previous patterns, do I view PLTR to be the cheapest stock? Heck no, I don't think anyone would say that, right? Looking at PLTR and where it's at, it can easily get rejected at these overbought levels. And when looking at it at the day chart, I don't think that's very hard to see. Looking at the MACD, looking at the RSI, definitely a little bit more on the overbought side. But guess what? PLTR is definitely super bullish right now. So on the 4-hour time frame, as long as it stays true to that direction, then ride it up. But do not be surprised if it begins to pull on back. If you're not already in PLTR, would I personally get into it right now? Well, let me ask you this very simple question. What's my upside versus my downside? If I see the resistance to be at 27.50, right? Let's say that's my target sell price. My upside potential in a perfect world would be 3%, 3.3%. My downside is about 20%. Ask yourself, is that upside worth the risk? It's a simple question you can always ask yourself. I personally don't think so, but we all have different risk tolerance. If that's an opportunity that you think is worth taking advantage of, I'm not here to convince you not to do it, and I'm definitely not here to convince you to do it. But please make sure that you are disciplined and structured with every opportunity you choose to take. So that's all I'm here to share. We got Christian with ticker symbol TMX. Let's go ahead and break that down. Appreciate that. TMX. Here we go. Alrighty, so TMX looks like it has very low volume. So that's already a huge red flag for me. I hate stocks with low volume. I can already see this just with the way that the candles are shaped. Yep, and looking at the 1 day, 1 minute chart, I can see that with the candles. So I personally wouldn't trade that just because of the candles themselves. On the 4-hour time frame, when it comes down to the trade setup, I see why you're paying attention to it. It pulled back from recent highs of $53. It sold off to lows of $41. And definitely, right, from overall lows, and it looks like it's trying to indicate signs of a reversal, right? So from where we're at to previous, highs, that's about 20%, 25% if it makes a full recovery. I think that's amazing. Do not hesitate to, wait for confirmation. It's so important. I'll set my alerts just for you as well. And I'm excited to follow up with it. If this is something that you see value in, then great, so be it. But just know that just because it's oversold, just because it's cheap, doesn't mean that it can't get cheaper. How many times have we bought in the dip on stocks like this? We think they're about to break out, and then they just drop once again. Understand that nothing has to happen in this market. There's 2 sides to every opportunity every single time, right? So always take risk into consideration. But great call out when it comes down to the pattern setup. I just really don't like the volume. And that's just my preference, right? So we got ticker BIDU. What's going on, Tyler? We haven't talked about BIDU in a while. So that's been a stock we haven't talked about in a while for sure. So we've gone through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's do a couple more and then we'll call it a Sunday stock talk. So BIDU, I'm going to keep this one very short and sweet. overall direction is not in your favor. And I know why you're paying attention to it right now, because it's trading above the SMA line now on the 4-hour time frame. I like that. But it was doing this just 2 months ago, where it trades above the SMA line and then it sells right back off and then makes new lows. It sells off even further, right? You need to understand true direction. As important as it is to understand, yeah, it's been recently been pushing up. That's great. But how has it been doing on the big picture? As of right now, BIDU, since its peak, is more bearish than it is bullish. So I should be more eager to manage my risk than to try to think it has to recover. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, again, a little bit more on the overbought side. It can easily break. If it breaks below SMA, EMA, that's a cut losses, manage risk, because we're headed right back down to previous lows. BIDU is more bearish than it is bullish. It's great that it's now trading above the SMA line. Just based off previous patterns, it doesn't hold up here very well. And ever since that peak of $300, it's been selling off ever since. I would hate for you to get caught in a stock that just continues to sell off. I would rather not be hopeful and be realistic based off of previous direction. So let's go ahead and how are we doing? Are the concepts that I'm sharing in this video useful, right? For a lot of our beginner traders, I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with the different ideas that we're sharing about direction, waiting for confirmation, understanding true direction. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been focusing on within this live stream. So PTIX. So PTIX, let's go ahead and break this down. So it's a $2 stock. I'm not a huge fan of these. I'm just going to say that. Okay, right away, super low volume. This looks like it gets manipulated very often. That's a huge red flag. I don't like trading stocks that get manipulated. Volume, direction, all of that. There's no clear direction. This is not a bullish stock. This is not a bear. It's just like it's plateauing. I don't want to put my money in something that just plateaus. And I do see why you're paying attention to it. It rallies from time to time. I trade with a large enough position that I don't want to partake in stocks that move like this at the end of the day, right? It's too risky. Yeah, it would be great if it plays out according to plan, but if it begins to drop and it crashes and I'm down 50%, that's not a position I want to put myself in, right? So why would I trade something like that? So my focus is consistency, and I don't see myself being as consistent when trading those those specific stocks. So Ricky never does my stock. You can't say that. I don't see all the comments. I'll do your stock. Now I feel bad. MMAT. That's a good way to get my attention, I guess. Here we go. So MMAT, 4-hour time frame. It looks like it was in a really nice rally. I can tell right away that it was being manipulated. Look at that volume, right? It peaked, and after it peaked, again, just as quick as it goes up, it pulls right on back. And it's sold right on back to previous support levels. It's peaking, and again, it's losing its volume already. This stock tends to be more bearish than it is bullish. And although it might rally for some period of time, this is more of a day trade than it is something that you want to hold overnight. You will understand. You need to understand the difference of a stock that is worth day trading, where you can manage your risk intraday, versus swing trading or holding it overnight. When it comes down to stocks that push up and pull back so quickly, understand that by you holding them overnight, if you buy and you hold at $11 and the next morning it opens at $5, you can't do anything about that, right? Put yourself in a position to succeed. Stop obsessing about how much money you can make and focus on both sides. How much potential versus how much risk. It's something, and it's a question you always have to be asking yourself. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So I'm going to do 2 more. CRM, and then I'll do 1 more after that. So CRM is a very popular one. This is Salesforce. Salesforce has been very, very bullish. Looking at it on the day chart, let's go ahead and check that one out. You guys can see that CRM has been on a consistent overall uptrend. Previous highs of 284, and it's really close to that, if anything. A more common resistance level is kind of where we're at right now, and you can see that although it hit highs of 284, you can see that most of its consolidation was right around 270, and that's essentially where we're trading at right now. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if it pulls right on back. I don't think Salesforce is a cheap stock right now, and yeah, it is bullish. I see why you're paying attention to it, but I like to wait for when everyone else is selling it, right? So when it reports earnings and maybe there's a sudden drop. I made a video on Salesforce. Do you guys remember that? There was a sudden drop, and we talked about it when it was at $200 a share. But no one pays attention to it then, because guess what? It's selling off. It takes time for it to recover. No one wants to wait for a stock to recover. People want, we're millennials. We want that instant gratification. It pays to be patient in this market, and there's no other way to put it, right? It sold off. This is when it made sense because there was actual margin to be made, right? So not from when it was at its peak. Look at the peak, right? From the peak to where we're at now, that's still good, 6%. I agree, that's still good. But buying it at even at 210, right? 211. And where it's at right now, 26%. It pays to be patient. It's not about what stock you buy so much, but it's when you buy the stock. Timing is everything in this market. And you can say, well, I got lucky, right? Timing. Well, the harder you work, the harder you look, the luckier you can get, right? If you want to base it off of luck. But at the end of the day, those that look find. Be encouraged to find those deals. Be encouraged to wait for those deals. Be empowered to allow those opportunities to truly present themselves. It's not about trading every day, especially all of you guys that have full-time jobs or that are students. We talk about this all the time with our Learn Plan Profit group. You guys don't need to do this every day, right? You guys can do this effectively and efficiently by even just following up with your portfolio on a weekly basis. What stocks are you waiting for to report earnings to either drop so you can load up on them and then wait, a couple of weeks or a couple of months for them to recover? You don't need to be obsessing about this every day. It's great, and I know you feel like a sponge right now, but I want to remind you don't need to. There's so many different ways on how to make money in this market. Don't think that there's just one specific way. Let's go ahead and break down the last one. That is going to be SPCE. So SPCE has been on a consistent pullback ever since its peak, right? This was right before its launch, and it's been selling off ever since. Is SPCE a stock that I would personally buy right now? No. I'm going to just put it quite frank for you guys. I have my alert on it because I want to follow up with it if it does begin to indicate signs of a recovery. But as of right now, it's not. It still has a lot to prove, and it has a lot of upside margin. So why are you in such a rush to buy the dip on it, right? Chill out. If you like the stock, add it to your watch list, set alerts on it, and if the opportunity and the direction ends up being in our favor, if we see SPCE begin to trade above $28, $30 a share, and it begins to make these higher highs, then it makes sense. I don't want to buy SPCE. This is a perfect example. I don't want to buy SPCE as it's selling off, right? This is so much wasted time. Think about the emotional roller coaster. It's devastating. But even here, okay, now we're trading above VMA. Okay, well, what are we doing here? We're trading above SMA. All right. Well, now we're actually indicating signs of a recovery. We're making higher highs, higher lows, right? We're indicating signs of growth. We broke above that previous resistance level that used to act as a resistance level. Same thing going on right now. I don't want to buy as it's selling off. I want to buy when it makes sense. Allow that opportunity to present itself. Keep it simple. Set those effective alerts, right? But yeah, it looks like a lot of you guys might still have different stocks that you would like me to break down. Friendly reminder, we have our free Facebook group. It's the first link in the description. If you don't see it, you guys can refresh your page. And I have a free Discord group as well. It's under Tech But Solutions, and it's that first link in the description. I do want to remind you again, today we are running our Labor Day sale for Learn Plan Profit. So if you like the way that I trade, if you like the way that I break things down, just know that I work with our Learn Plan Profit group every single day at market open, and we are running a $50 off sale today. And again, that's that second link down below if you feel like you are ready to join our trading team. And the last reminder is, if you guys want anything off of the Shop TechBuds site, there's an entire Labor Day sale. It's 20% off. The discount applies automatically at checkout. So again, you guys can pick up your favorite tech mouse pad. We have the extra large trading mouse pad in stock, the Wall Street Bull, the Make Your Own Luck, all of these, right? You can scroll all through them. We have all the different aluminum art. We have all the different flags. Flags are literally just $19. And also all of your apparel. So the Wall Street hoodie has sold out, but we have the Hustle Hard tee, the Tech Butts tee. Everything is 20% off. Just add it to your cart, and again, you get 20% off at checkout. Altogether, I really do appreciate you guys' time. If you guys still have a stock that you would like me to break down, please do not message me on Instagram. Message me via Discord. If you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group, you have access to me via Discord. If you're part of just our free Facebook group, feel free to message me on Facebook, and or you can message me via Discord as well. I appreciate you guys' time. I hope and wish you guys an amazing rest of your Sunday. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it